After a brutal 24-hour shift, I dragged myself home, only to discover my key no longer worked. A text from my mother-in-law lit up my screen. "We need $20,000 for our anniversary trip." That night I slept outside. No blanket, no explanation, just me and the cold concrete. Morning came, and with it, a plastic container left on the doorstep, a sticky note taped to the lid. "Your dinner." I stared at it for a long second. Then I smiled. A strange, steady smile. I walked to my car, the one I paid for, the one she always drove, climbed in, and without a word I shut down our joint bank account, terminated the lease, and drove off. Hours later my phone buzzed, 52 missed calls. The final message came from someone I didn't recognize. "This is Nathan Wells from Dalton and Reed. Please contact us immediately." You know what your problem is? You believe you matter. I stood there in front of a door that used to be mine. The key trembled in my hand, slid into the lock, and jammed. "This is my home," I whispered into the phone. Her mother's voice responded, light and smug. "Not anymore. We changed the locks. And don't bother calling her. She doesn't want to talk to you." My brain refused to accept it. After a full day of working nonstop, servers failing, users panicking, constant firefighting, I had come home running on fumes. And they'd locked me out like I was nothing. Her voice returned, calm and calculated. "Send us $20,000 today, or I'll tell her you've never been the man she deserves." I laughed, not out of amusement, but because something inside me fractured. "Where is she?" "She's here, sleeping, safe from your disappointments." I called my wife, straight to voicemail, again and again. Unread messages, no replies. I knocked once, then again, louder. My fist echoed through the hallway like a siren no one wanted to hear. Eventually, I slid down the door and sat there, back against the wall, breathing in the cold. My hands were numb. My heart was colder. A new message. "Families support each other. Stop being selfish." I opened our banking app. The joint account? Nearly zero. Everything I'd earned, everything I'd saved, gone. I checked the statements. Jewelry, hotels, shopping sprees, her mother's bills. They'd spent my salary like it was their birthright. Family? Number, this wasn't a family. This was a parasite colony. Time crawled. I sat there shivering, rage humming under my skin. Around dawn, the door creaked open. For a moment, hope sparked, but it wasn't her, just her hand. She placed a plastic container on the ground like she was feeding a stray cat. Cold spaghetti, dry sauce, a note, "Your dinner." The door shut, and something inside me snapped into place. No fury, no screaming, just a cold, controlled resolve. I opened my phone, closed the joint account, for good this time, canceled the lease. My name was the only one on the contract anyway. The car downstairs, the one she treated like hers, it was mine. No note, no confrontation. I just got in and drove. The city lights melted into a haze of early morning mist. My phone buzzed again. 10 missed calls, then 20, then 52. The last one came from an unknown number, a voicemail. "This is Nathan Wells from Dalton and Reed. Please contact us regarding a legal matter involving your wife." I smiled, a slow, deliberate smile. They wanted a war? They had no idea who they were dealing with. I pulled into the parking lot of a cheap motel, the neon sign sputtering like it was on life support. The wind howled, but I barely noticed. I sat in the car, hands clenched on the wheel, chest burning with fury. They thought they'd buried me, that I was broken, but they had no idea what I could become once the leash was off. I reopened the banking app. Empty. Gone. Every dollar dissected. Groceries, $1,200. Food I never ate. Utilities, $800. For rooms I barely used. $5,000 to her mother. Medical bills, or was that the diamond bracelet? $3,000 for a family trip I wasn't even invited to. I wasn't a husband. I was an ATM with a pulse. Not anymore. I logged into my work account. My credentials still worked. Network engineer. a glorified firefighter for broken tech. But today, it was my weapon. Admin access still intact. Her Gmail, still using the same password I'd set up years ago. And just like that, I was in. What I found curdled my stomach. Message after message between her and her mother, laughing about how they'd milked me dry. Their anniversary trip, Paris, five-star hotels, bags dripping with designer logos. Her mother's words, make sure he pays for everything. He owes you for wasting your time. And then it got worse. A thread with their lawyer, Nathan Wells. Attached, a draft of a separation agreement. Her name on top, mine below. She'd get full financial support, spousal maintenance, half of everything I owned. They weren't just trying to walk away from me, they were trying to erase me entirely. But as I clenched my jaw, my hand stayed steady. I opened her email and clicked reply. Lawrence, I've reconsidered. We'll be holding off on the separation for now. I'll speak to my husband personally. Please pause all further actions. Send. Next, I created a simple archive rule. Any incoming messages from Lawrence would be rerouted to a hidden folder. Nothing deleted, just quietly tucked away. I'd built that function for her years ago. Now I'd weaponized it. Let her wonder why the lawyer suddenly went silent. But I wasn't finished. I logged into our shared cloud storage. Years of what I thought were our memories. But what I found? Photo albums filled almost entirely with her and her mother. Trips I'd paid for but never attended. Selfies with strangers. Men I didn't know. Smiles that weren't meant for me. Then I found the chats. Flirtatious messages. Secret threads. Proof of the life she lived in the shadows of our marriage. Screenshots. Videos. I created a folder and named it simply Proof. My phone buzzed again. Her mother. I answered, but said nothing. Hello? Hello? Are you there or just sulking again? Her voice was sharp, impatient. Stop being dramatic and send the money. Do you really think anyone cares about your tantrum? Still, I said nothing. She went on, rants, demands, insults. You're worthless without us. My daughter wasted her life on you. You've been nothing but a disappointment since day one. I pressed record. Let her vent. She had no idea she was giving me exactly what I needed. Finally, I spoke. Just one question. Are you finished? There was a pause, a flicker of confusion. How dare you? No, I interrupted, my voice steady, cool. How dare you? You've crossed the line. And I ended the call. They had no idea who they'd just awakened. I transferred the remaining money to a brand new account, froze the joint credit cards, rerouted my salary into a secure bank. In one night, I became untouchable. And they were about to be cornered. By sunrise, I had it all. Screenshots, voicemails, bank records, a perfectly laid out timeline of betrayal. But I wasn't stopping there. I needed to see their faces. I parked a street away from what used to be our apartment. I didn't need a key. I didn't need to knock. I had built that fortress, set up the Wi-Fi, installed the security cams, the smart speakers. All of it was still linked to my account. One tap, and I was watching them. There she was, pacing the living room, clutching her phone like it was a lifeline. Her voice cracked. Mom, he's not answering. What if he knows? What if he... Calm down, her mother snapped. He's too stupid to do anything. Just act like you care. He'll fold like always. My teeth clenched. I tapped the speaker icon. The smart speaker buzzed to life. Act like you care. My voice boomed through the living room. She screamed, dropping her phone. Her mother spun around, eyes wide with terror. Who's there? Who's doing this? I laughed, slow and cold. You thought I wouldn't find out? That I'd stay blind forever? They were frozen, cornered in their own home. Listen carefully, I said. I know everything. The money, the lies, the agreement. I have it all. You can't do this, her mother shrieked, running toward the front door. I already did. I ended the connection, leaving them in dead silence. Another call. Nathan Wells. I let it go to voicemail. Mr. Carter, I think we need to talk. I smiled. Cold, precise. They thought they'd broken me, but now they were just learning what it looks like when a man has nothing left to lose. I leaned back in the motel bed, the ceiling above me peeling from moisture. The darkness wrapped around me like a second skin. My phone for once was quiet, 52 missed calls, countless messages, none of which I cared to read. They were unraveling, panicking, because they realized I'd vanished from their control. But I wasn't finished. I had all the proof I needed, the betrayals, the manipulation, their laughter behind my back, and I had something they could never touch, my job, my foothold. I got up, showered, dressed, and headed out. Not in retreat, but toward the one place they couldn't poison, my office, my ground. Fluorescent lights flickered above me as I sat down at my desk. The code blinked across the screen in neat rows. But my eyes weren't on the terminal. They were on my enemies, the ones who thought I was weak, the ones who thought I'd stay quiet. Another unknown number. Nathan Wells. Mr. Carter, we need to talk. Your recent behavior has caused my clients considerable distress. Distress? That was just the warm-up. I opened the folder marked Proof, the digital vault of everything they never thought I'd see. Messages between my wife and her mother. He's so clueless. He'll never see it coming. Audio clips. He's a loser. We've been carrying him for years and he doesn't even realize it. Photos. Her wrapped around other men, laughing in bars I'd never been to. Flirty messages that didn't belong in a marriage. And then, there it was, a draft separation agreement, the very one Wells had helped them craft. Half of my assets, full spousal support. They didn't just want to leave me. They wanted to gut my life from the inside out. They expected me to beg, to crawl, to shatter, but they had miscalculated. The hunted had become the one holding the rifle. A security alert blinked on my screen. I opened the live camera feed. There they were, in the building lobby, my wife, her mother, and Nathan Wells. My wife clung to Wells's arm, tears streaking her face. Her mother was mid-tirade, flailing her hands at the security guard like a deranged conductor. Wells kept his posture, but the tension was unmistakable. Perfect. My phone rang again. Front desk security. Mr. Carter, we have 3 individuals here demanding access. They're causing a disturbance. I smiled. Let them in. They stormed into the glass-walled conference room like a hurricane, faces twisted with fury and desperation. My wife's makeup was smeared, eyes bloodshot. Her mother looked feral. And Wells? He looked like a man about to regret a dozen decisions. Finally decided to stop hiding? Her mother spat, fists clenched tight. You think you can just lock us out? Take everything that's ours? Steal, I echoed, leaning back, arms folded. That's an interesting word to use. My wife took a step forward, her voice trembling. Please, let's just talk. We can fix this. We can… Fix? I laughed softly. You mean lie some more? Manipulate? Keep using me until there's nothing left? Wells raised his hand like this was a boardroom negotiation. Mr. Carter, we're here to resolve this amicably. Your actions have caused significant emotional harm. Let's not escalate. Amicably? I nodded, pulling out my phone. Sure. Let's tell the truth then. I tapped play. The speaker filled with her mother's voice. He's a loser. We'll drain him dry. He won't even realize it. Her mother's face drained of color. That's doctored. You faked that. I didn't respond. I played the next clip. Just tell him you love him. He'll cave. He always does. My wife stumbled back like she'd been slapped. Her hands flew to her mouth. Stop. Please. That's not… I didn't… Oh, but you did, I cut in, my tone ice. I slid a printout across the table. The divorce agreement, her name in bold at the top. Drafted by Nathan Wells, demanding full financial support. Half of everything, all of it planned. But you forgot something? Wells's composure cracked. Mr. Carter, I can't discuss client documents without proper consent. I laughed quietly. Consent? Is that what you call this? You thought I was some naive idiot. You thought I'd just hand everything over. Her mother lunged, but I stood up, voice cutting through her fury like a scalpel. This is my office. Surveillance is active. Everything you're doing and saying is on record. Your threats, your aggression, documented. You wanted a battle? I said, staring her down. You just got one. My wife grabbed my arm, tears spilling freely now. Please, let's talk. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Didn't mean. I yanked my arm free. You planned it. You all planned it. Wells stepped forward again. We don't have to go to court. We can negotiate terms privately. I moved closer, eyes locked on his. You wanted a victim. Instead, you got a reckoning. Every cent, every lie. It'll all be accounted for. Legally. And with that, I turned and walked to the door. Behind me, the room dissolved into chaos. Her sobs, her mother's fury. Wells's strained attempts to restore control. Mr. Carter, Wells called after me. We can still reach a solution. I didn't turn back. You had your chance. Now you'll watch the truth rip through your little scheme. I left them there, in the ruins of their own trap. Back in my office, I closed the door behind me and leaned against it. My heart thundered, not from fear, from clarity. For the first time in years, I wasn't the fool. My phone buzzed again. A new message from Wells. Mr. Carter, I urge you to call me. This can still be resolved amicably. They were desperate now. Perfect. I leaned back in my chair, the blue light of my monitor casting shadows across my face. Outside the glass walls, my colleagues typed away in calm oblivion, completely unaware of the storm I had just unleashed. They thought I would fold. They thought I would apologize. They thought I would beg. But they didn't understand. The silence wasn't weakness. It was control. My phone buzzed again. Nathan Wells's name lit up the screen. The once confident attorney now sounded hollow, desperate. I let it ring once, twice, then answered. My voice steady, flat, disinterested. Mr. Carter, please. They're in a bad place. They want to resolve this peacefully. Peacefully. I let the words sit there, sharp and cold. Did they care about peace when they emptied my accounts? When they laughed behind my back? His voice faltered. I imagined him alone in his polished office, struggling to sound composed. They're willing to negotiate. Negotiate, I repeated, letting a bitter laugh escape. Like they negotiated when they turned me into an ATM with a heartbeat? They don't have that kind of money anymore. They're struggling. Not my concern, I said calmly. $32,000, in full. No installments, no delays, no sympathy, or I drag them into court and shred their lies under oath. He went quiet. The weight of it landed. Give me one day, he finally said. I ended the call, letting my hand rest on the desk. They thought they were the predators, but they never realized they were already caught. That night I returned home. The darkness felt different now, not suffocating, empowering. I made a simple meal, nothing fancy, just food I cooked for myself. For once, the sizzle of oil in the pan, the aroma of garlic and spice. I was alive again. Every bite tasted like freedom. The next morning my phone rang. Nathan Wells again. This time his voice was stripped of confidence. Mr. Carter, they've agreed. You'll have your money. In full. Yes, and they will sign a written agreement promising no further contact. He hesitated, then sighed. Understood. I almost felt pity. Almost. An hour later, a notification appeared. A formal document from Wells's office. Full repayment. $32,000. Signed agreement. No contact from my wife or her mother. I read it once. Then again. The satisfaction settled deep and cold, like a blade sliding into its sheath. They thought they'd drain me forever. Now they were the ones crushed by their own greed. The following morning, I logged into my bank account. $32,000, every cent. But those numbers, they meant more than money. They were validation, evidence that I hadn't been the fool they assumed. Then the messages started rolling in. First her mother. We lost everything because of you. Then my wife. Please, just talk to me. We can fix this. I didn't reply. I didn't block them either. I let their words scream into the void. Then another message. Nathan Wells again. They have nothing left. Are you satisfied? I stared at the screen. Satisfied? Number I was something better. Free? I typed my reply with deliberate calm. Perfectly. I set the phone down and leaned back in my chair. Outside, the city pulsed, loud, alive, and indifferent. But in here, in this quiet, I had everything I needed. I wasn't their pawn. I wasn't their provider. I was the reckoning they never anticipated. At the courthouse, the halls were almost empty. A tired clerk took the paperwork, stamped it, and handed it back. The divorce was finalized. My name and hers now separated by a thin black line. No appeals, no drama, just a clean, silent end. I stepped outside into the crisp air. It didn't hurt. It didn't feel like loss. It felt like sunlight after a hurricane. But that didn't mean they stopped. My phone buzzed again. Her name, then her mother's. Voicemails stacked up. Please, just listen. I didn't mean to hurt you. I love you. Her voice broke in every message. Raw, desperate, fractured. Another mask, another performance. I didn't answer. That night I stood by the window, watching the lights of the city blink like stars. Another voicemail. Her mother again. You can't abandon us. We're family. I let the phone drop to the table with a soft thud. Family. Number that wasn't family. Family protects. Family builds. They bled me dry, then blamed me for the mess. Days became weeks. The calls didn't stop, but they didn't matter. Work was peaceful, productive. I felt lighter, sharper, free. My reflection no longer looked exhausted. I picked up old habits again, reading, running, cooking just for me. Even the smell of fresh coffee felt like a luxury I hadn't realized I missed. Quiet Sundays, long walks, a life filled with the small joys they never allowed. The messages shifted. My wife turned bitter. You're heartless. We're suffering and you don't care. Her mother tried guilt. We took care of you. We gave you everything. This is how you repay us? A home? Their home was a cage. I wasn't living. I was financing their fantasy. I never answered, never had to. Silence was the only truth they deserved. Then another message. Nathan Wells again. They're completely ruined. They have nothing. Are you sure you want this to continue? I imagined him behind his desk, trying to play mediator now. Trying to save them. Trying to save himself. I smiled. Yes. They thought I was a fool. Someone who would give until I had nothing left. But they never understood who I really was. I wasn't their wallet. I wasn't their lifeline. I was the end of the story they wrote without me. For years I believed I was building a family, but I was just underwriting a performance. I let them turn love into leverage and loyalty into currency. Not anymore. I wasn't running from them, I was walking away. Because winning meant leaving them behind. And in their silence, I finally found peace. I woke up to mornings filled with light, to air that didn't taste like debt and disappointment. I wandered the city, tried new foods, rediscovered the world. One day, sitting in a cafe, I laughed genuinely. A real, effortless laugh. It had been years. That night, standing on my balcony, the city glowing beneath me, I took a deep breath. I hadn't lost a wife. I hadn't lost a family. I'd lost people who pretended to love me and gained something far better. My life. Mine at last.